What's good, everyone? Thank you for stopping by to visit the channel for this upcoming game preview. If you want to stay updated in the world of college football, make sure you click that subscribe button, click that notification bell, and select all so you won't miss another video. Alright, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and skip the pleasantries. Y'all know why y'all here. Let's go ahead and move on to the tail of the tape. Now, the tail of the tape shows that this will be a tight matchup. Now, we all know it is 1 versus 2, but this is before the college football playoff rankings will come out on Tuesday. Alabama's offense holds an advantage over the LSU defense, and LSU's offense and Alabama's defense register a push based on their respective ranking. SP Plus gives Alabama a 67% win probability, and it has them as a 7.5-point favorite, while Vegas originally opened as a 7-point favorite is now down to 6.5. Ankle Watch 2019 is currently in effect, as quarterback Tua Tagovialoa missed the previous game against Arkansas due to that high ankle sprain that required surgery due to an injury he suffered against Tennessee. The Crimson Tide offense is not the offense that seemed to live off of explosive plays last season under Mike Locksley as offensive coordinator. This year, they are taking exactly what the defense has given them under Steve Sarkisian, and if you prefer death by 1,000 cuts, they're more than willing to oblige you. I know it looks like all they do is throw slants, but at the same time, nobody has seemed to stop it yet, and if you overcommit to one of their talented wide receivers, they'll just throw to the other three. If you decide to not commit an extra player into the box, no problem. They'll just run Najee Harris and Brian Robinson. Alabama's running game is not explosive by any means, but they are wildly efficient as they are ranked 3rd in rushing success rate, and the offensive line is getting better each week after the Texas A&M game. Now, defensively though, it is not the Alabama standard that we are used to seeing. Alabama is known for simply shutting off their running game completely, but this year they haven't been able to do that. The loss of Quinnen Williams doesn't give them a consistent, disruptive player up the middle, and they have had issues giving up runs in the perimeter of the defense. Now, I'm not the one that doesn't lack perspective here. They are starting up to 6 true freshmen on defense, and to start that many freshmen in the Nick Saban-like defense, you should expect some busts in the front 7. The raw metrics against FBS competition has Alabama ranked 14th in total defense, which is still a solid defense, and they are ranked 12th in defensive success rate. The emergence of Terrell Lewis on the edge gives Alabama a capable pass rusher, and he has been a nightmare for offensive tackles since the Texas A&M game. If I had a nickel for every time I heard in the past preseasons that LSU's offense was going to be different, I'd be a rich man right now. They finally lived up to their promise, and they are one of the most dangerous offenses in the country, if not the most dangerous offense in the country. We're talking about an offense that would live off of short fields from turnovers and special teams. Instead, they are driving down the field without any worries about the opposition's defense. Make no mistake here, this offense is indeed elite. Joe Burrow has thrived under the tutelage of passing game coordinator Joe Brady as he leads an offense ranked 1st in passing offense success rate. The wide receiver core is nothing to sneeze at either. They are long, rangy, and physical when it comes to catching 50-50 passes. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Terrence Marshall Jr. have combined for 25 out of the 30 touchdowns thrown by Burrow. This offense loves to spread you out wide and force your hand by placing running backs and tight ends in motion in order to go to an empty set. Now, the Tiger defense is not the physically imposing front of years past. The LSU faithful will mention they had players out due to injury, but in a 3-game split of Florida, Mississippi State, and Auburn respectively, the defense was ranked 37th in defensive success rate and an uncharacteristically ranked 73rd in passing defense success rate. Of those 3 teams, Florida was the only team that was ranked higher than Auburn in adjusted passing offense, as the Tigers were ranked 44th in that stretch, while the Gators were ranked 9th as well. No matter how you spin it, this is not the standard we are used to seeing from LSU's defense, especially in the secondary. Now, to keep it objective, the rushing defense has stepped up during that 3-game stretch as they finished 14th in rushing defense success rate. That is indeed a solid ranking. Now, is it the standard of the 2011 defense? Not necessarily. But if there's one thing the Tigers can hold their hat on, is that they don't allow many explosive plays on defense. LSU is coming in with injuries to Grant Delpit and uber-talented freshman defensive back Derek Stingley, but I am expecting both of them to play in this game, and it will take an act of God for them not to play this Saturday. If you're an Alabama fan, you are liking your chances when you have the ball, but if Tua is playing, you are probably licking your chops here. This matchup is similar to last year when Alabama was on defense against LSU's offense. Alabama holds a sizable advantage over the Bayou Bengals here. The first thing LSU fans will say is that they have played a stronger schedule than Alabama, but these numbers are opponent adjusted, and seeing LSU ranked 62nd in adjusted pass defense through the year is not something I'm used to seeing. And leading up to the game last year, LSU was ranked second in that same metric, while the Crimson Tide did go after Greedy Williams a lot and had no issues in that game, even though Tagovialoa threw his first pick of the season. Injuries or not, that is a huge drop, and going up against arguably the best wide receiving core in the country, that could pose a problem. LSU's secondary will be up to the challenge, but it is nothing like anything they've seen before against an opponent they faced this year. I feel LSU will attempt to use the Mississippi State game plan from last year against Alabama. Bend, but don't break in the red zone and force Alabama to, dare I say, kick field goals. Since January 9, 2012, Alabama's defense has held a stranglehold against LSU's offense. But this time around, the tables have turned. LSU's offense is no longer the mundane pushover from years past, and Alabama's defense is not the seek and destroy experience bunch they are used to fielding over the years. Running backs Clyde Edwards-Helaire for LSU is a bowling ball who is tough to bring down. He is adept at keeping his legs moving while pushing that pile forward. As I mentioned before, LSU is savvy in using their motion to force you out of alignment. This is where the lack of experience of Alabama's freshman little linebackers can hurt Alabama here. I've watched Alabama a lot over the years, and they are still susceptible to a wheel route out of the backfield. Now, the matchup between LSU's wide receivers against the Alabama secondary is going to be one to watch. If LSU wins the majority of those battles, this game will have Alabama fans sweating this one out. In the keys to the game, for Alabama, they have to win the line of scrimmage. Alabama's winning streak has been predicated on winning that battle on both sides of the ball. If they can control the game and keep LSU's offense off the field, we have seen a considerable drop-off between LSU's first-team defense and their second-team defense. For LSU, they have to start out fast and get into an early rhythm. LSU's first-quarter offense is ranked third in the country. They are extremely efficient on offense, and their defense relies on emotion. If that defense can get a few stops early in the game, they will stay in the game. However, if it goes in the opposite direction, then that's when the frustration will set in. Now, the computer has this game tight, with Alabama winning by 5 to the score of 43-38. It has Alabama gaining 6.8 yards per play and LSU gaining 6.31 yards per play. Alabama allows 89% of their opponent rush averages and 81% of their opponent pass average, while LSU allows 68% of their opponent rush average and 95% of their opponent's passing averages, which I will say again, I'm not used to seeing that out of LSU. I'm used to seeing around 75-80% of their opponent's pass averages due to their solid secondary. But with Alabama's offense holding a heavy advantage over LSU's defense, and LSU's offense holding a slight advantage over Alabama's defense, the advanced metrics are screaming that Alabama should win this one by around 10 points or so. Alrighty then. So we got Game of the Century, Part 2. A lot of this game is riding on the health of Tua Tagovialoa here. If Nick Saban comes out and says Tua will not play in this game, in my view, this will turn into a pick'em, and slightly I will give that advantage to LSU for sure, 100%. I think Mac Jones acquitted himself against a poor Arkansas team, but LSU's a different beast. For LSU, you can expect Alabama is going to target Kerry Vincent Jr. if they get into one-on-one situations with a slot receiver. In the end, I think LSU is due for a win in this series. But I don't think it's going to be on Saturday, though. I think Tua at 80 to 85% is going to be just enough, and Alabama's defense will get a key stop and pull out the win by the score of 45-35. And that is a wrap for this game preview. So let me know what your thoughts are on the game in the comment section below. Give me your score prediction and also tell me why your respective team is going to win the game. I hope you enjoyed the video. All I ask is that you give the video a like, also share the video, and if you love college football as much as I do, hit that subscribe button if you want to stay updated with the latest previews and the occasional highlights. Thank you all for visiting the channel, and thank you for watching.